Hi everybody, I'm Mama Donnie and I'm here with Shalom TV. I am in Stamford, Connecticut at the Stamford Plaza Hotel amongst 400 Jewish women who are about to go make challah in that ballroom over there. This event is hosted by the Chabad House of Stamford. The event is called Loaves of Love, and I know exactly why, because I am feeling so much love here today. Let's go talk to a bunch of women and find out why there are 400 women here in Stamford on a Monday night.
Made out of challah. This is hand-baked by many volunteers that came together and did them. And we've put everybody's name in here, and now they come and they can enjoy it and they can have the taste of challah while they're preparing their dough.
This is going to be a very special, magical thing to do it all together at the same time.
I think it's a wonderful thing. I can't believe there's that many Jews in this whole town.
Judith, you just said that you were a child in the Holocaust, a 4-year-old girl. And here we are now, fast forward a few decades from then. And now this person's alive here. How could you ever imagine a moment like this where women are celebrating being Jewish, making challah?
Unbelievable. It's a miracle. It's really, Chabad does an incredible job.
Chabad House is such a wonderful organization. They do such good for the people, the Jewish community in Stamford. Their outreach is phenomenal, that I want to give back to them, and I volunteer for a number of organizations.
It's a Loaves of Love challah baking event.
And what is this all about?
Making your own challah.
I would say this is probably one of the year's most important events, where close to 400 Jewish women come together and participate in the quintessential Jewish act of creating delicious food for a Shabbat table.
Leah, this is unreal. There's how many? 400 women here on a Monday night?
Women, close to 400 women, amazingly, on a Monday night.
Please tell Shalom TV what is going on here. What are you up to, Miss Leah?
Okay, so if I can just share with you that Jewish Women Connected is here to nurture local Jewish women, to connect them to one another, to bring them together, to celebrate, to study, to create, to learn. And this night of challah baking is our largest event ever. In fact, I think it's the largest Jewish women's event in Stamford to date. And close to 400 women have come together, mothers and daughters, grandmothers, sisters and friends, to be involved in a mitzvah, to bake challah and to find out what this mitzvah is all about. The idea behind Loaves of Love is that it's not just to give a challah to those that come into the walls of your home, but how we can extend that beyond the walls of our home and reach more and more people in our community. In fact, every Friday we deliver between 4 and 12 packages of Loaves of Love. And they are challahs that are made with love and delivered to someone's doorstep just with an extra dose of love. And it might be somebody who's ill, or somebody who's been through a rough patch, or moved to a new house, or had a baby, or just because who couldn't use an extra dose of love? So everybody's challah baking tonight. They each get a little small challah that we're hoping they will share with someone. So if there are 360 or 400 women in the room tonight, 800 individuals or families will be touched by a loaf of love. So Loaves of Love, it's the ripple effect of kindness and goodness into our community. And I hope that the women here will be empowered to bake challah for their families, for themselves, for their communities, and share that further and know that if it's once a month or once a year or every Friday, you can bake challah too.
Good evening. On behalf of the co-chairs of tonight's event, I would like to welcome you, more than 360 women who have made the effort to be here tonight. 360 women who did not want to miss the opportunity to be part of such a phenomenal event, the Jewish Women Connected Mega Challah Bake. This is an amazing achievement, not only because of the number of ladies here tonight, but also because of what it says about the nurturing, dynamic, and generous women in our community. Tonight, we are here to honor 3 valued members of our community. We have 4 co-chairs and more than 40 committee members who have been integral in organizing and preparing for tonight. But it is thanks to our hostess, loving guide and friend, Leah Shemtov, who had the initial idea of this unbelievable event. And together with Rachel Weingrove, made sure it actually happened. Leah, everyone here would agree that you nurture us all individually and as a community all year round. Rachel, your hard work and dedication to this community is exceptional, and clearly you and Leah are the perfect team. Leah and Rachel, this is a gift to you, not just from all of us, but ultimately from everyone here tonight, for giving us the privilege of being part of such an awesome and inspiring evening.
Everybody has a recipe card in front of them. On it, it says, today's challah recipe. What we've done for you today is measured out almost all of your ingredients exactly. If we can ask everybody to sit, and what you need first is 1/3 of a cup warm water and your sachet of yeast. I'm making a little bit of a bigger dough here, so I'm putting in my yeast from here. Pour it into your warm water, into your bowl, and you can mix it up. Now, if you don't have enough warm water at your table for your 1/3 of a cup, only 1/3 of a cup, 1/3 of a cup, your extra 1 cup of water should just be from the cold water pitchers. And you can pour in your cold water, 1 cup. My recipe is a little bigger. We're getting 4 cups, but 1 cup of water goes into your bowl. Now what I want to show you here, your warm water is with your yeast. We want to see that the yeast is activated. What is active? Once upon a time, when there was only fresh yeast, you were worried that your yeast would not rise, so you proofed your yeast. Before you put it in with everything else, you wanted to make sure that it was live and active. Today, when you buy your yeast and it expires in 2015, chances are that your yeast is okay, but we're still proofing our yeast. Now what helps our yeast be active is sugar. You're going to take the cup of measured sugar. You have a little cup, that's salt. Don't take your salt, but your cup of sugar that looks just like this. This is your sugar. And what you're going to do is sprinkle a little bit of sugar into your 1/3 of a cup yeast and water mixture. That's going to activate the yeast even more. When I bake this big recipe of challah, I use about 1 cup of sugar. I put a little bit into my yeast, and the rest is going into the bowl with my regular water. What you're looking for in your yeast, if you want to look in my yeast, you're looking for your yeast to start to have bubbles. The active yeast starts to bubble and grow, and then you know that it's active. I'm going to leave it here to grow a little more, just so that you can see. And in the meantime, you have a cup with an egg. What we're going to do is check that the egg is kosher, and a kosher egg is an egg from a kosher bird, which if you go to your grocery stores, all eggs are from chickens which are kosher, so chances are you've got a kosher egg. But then you want to check that there's no blood in it. So you're going to take your little cup that your egg was in, and you're going to check your egg. You can look and make sure that there's no blood in it, and your egg can go in. So far, in your bowl has sugar, water, eggs. The next ingredient that you want to put in, you have your 1/3 of a cup of oil. This recipe that I'm using calls for a cup. Get your oil and put your oil into your mixture. Okay, so I I see that this yeast is quite active, I'm going to pour it in, and I'm going to give you a challah tip. This is a challah tip that you want to hear, ladies. There are two things that are not good for your yeast. When you're worrying about your yeast, these are two things that you want to know that might kill your yeast. Number one, boiling water. Warm water is important to activate the yeast, but if it's boiling hot at a boiling point, it could kill it. Number two is salt directly on your yeast when it's trying to activate. So, what we're going to do now is, you have your bag of flour, and now you're going to take your bag of flour, and you're going to open your bag of flour, and you're going to put in approximately 1/3 of the bag. Just eyeball it, approximately 1/3, and you can get that into your bowl. Now that your yeast is protected with the flour, you can take your little cup of salt, your 2 teaspoons of measured salt, and just dump it right in. Now comes the fun part. Everybody should have 7 ingredients in your bowl. The 7 ingredients relate to the 7 days of the week, the 7th day being Shabbat. And if you'd like, take your spoon and you can start to mix your dough. There are 7 ingredients in here, 7 things are in, but it's very watery because you're going to add more dough, more flour soon. You just want to incorporate all of the flour. Now when your dough looks a little bit like this, don't worry if there's lumps and bumps, that's okay. But you've basically integrated most of the flour. Now, you're going to take you're going to take about half the bag that's left, about a little less than half the bag, and pour it in. Now, it might be getting a little difficult to mix your flour, your dough with the spoon, and for those that are brave amongst us, you are now welcome. If you want to put on your gloves or if your hands are clean, this dough is for you and your family. You can get your hands right in. Now I'm going to show you the technique for kneading the dough. And if you follow with me, you'll be able to see what to do. We're basically mixing from the outside in with one hand, using the palm of your hand to go in. Now the more flour you have on your hand, the less you're going to stick to the dough. And it's forming into a dough just from the outside in. But your goal is you're trying to clean the outside of the bowl from the outside in, and you're trying to work your dough in. And then from the outside in, using the palm of your hand, you want to just get this bowl as clean as you can. One of the things that you want to know about kneading dough is that you cannot over-knead your dough by hand. So for those of you who are bakers, and you know that when you bake a cake, once you add your raising ingredient, you don't want to overbeat it. But in dough, with challah and with yeast, you cannot over-knead it. The more you knead it, the more you lengthen your gluten, the fluffier your challah will be. Once your dough is ready, you might want to put it in front of you and make yourself a little space. And once you've kneaded your dough, take a seat. So what we're giving our challah an opportunity to do, our challah is getting a little chance to rise. And while our challah is rising, it is customary that before you start to cook, and particularly before you bake challah, that you give Sadaqa. And Sadaqa represents this very idea. On each of your table, challah represents the idea of Sadaqa, of charity. On each table, you have a little Sadaqa box and some coins. And I'm going to ask that everybody at the table take the opportunity now to give some tzedakah. What we're trying to do is make this moment, focus in on this moment. At the time of transforming our dough to challah, we have the opportunity to pray. The power in our room this evening of close to 400 souls coming together is tremendous. And I don't want to miss that opportunity of praying for each of the things that we each want and need in our lives. But tonight, we will all join together to pray collectively for those blessings that we each need and want in our lives. I'm going to ask Maravivi Darren to come up to take the piece of challah, but before she does so, I want to share something with you. When we take the piece of challah, there are a number of conditions that need to be present in order for it to be challah, in order to take the challah. The first condition is that the flour that you use needs to be one of 5 grains. The 5 grains are brow, barley, rye, oats, wheat, or spelt. We're using wheat flour, so condition number 1 has been met. The second condition to take a piece of challah, that it represents actually bread and not cake or something else, is that the majority liquid content be water. In our dough today, we have 1 1/3 cups of water and only 1/3 cup of oil. So our primary liquid content is water. And finally, you have to have a little more than 4 pounds of flour. Each of our doughs that we've made are a little smaller. You each have a 2-pound bag of flour, and we didn't quite finish our bags. So what we're going to do is this. At your table, you have some folded brown napkins. What we're going to do is you're going to join together in groups of 3. You're going to take 3 bowls together, take your brown napkin, and cover all 3 bowls together. Once you've done that, you're going to designate one of those 3 women to be the one to take the challah from your collection. If the person that's taking the challah can take a little piece from the other dough of somebody else's and connect it to the bowl that she's taking from, and then you cover it together, and now it's like one dough. So 3 people together, 3 dough, and have your designated person. If you are the designated person, you're going to put your hand under, hold a little piece in your hand, and Maravivi is going to walk you through the process. But I'm going to ask everybody just to quieten down for a moment. I don't want to lose sight of the amazing opportunity that we each have right now. When you go into a synagogue, when you go into a shul or a bet knesset, the words for prayer are mapped out in front of you in the prayer book. We are taught, however, that there are 3 opportunities anytime one can talk to God from their soul. But for the feminine soul, there are 3 special times that you have the opportunity to talk to Hashem. Talk from your heart. It's the time of lighting your Shabbat candles, separating the piece of challah, and immersion in the mikveh. Being in a room together with 400 women, the power of that prayer is tremendous. Let us join together and ask and pray for the wishes of each of our own hearts and for the wishes and needs of our loved ones, of our community, of the entire people of Israel, in fact, for the entire world, and take this moment to bring that blessing down.
Baruch, Ata, Adonai, Eloheinu, Melech HaOlam, Asher, Kidshanu, B'mitzvotav, V'tzivanu, Lahafrish, Challah.
Amen. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do with your challah is that the size of the challah that you made is for 2 challahs. So you might want to separate your dough, take your entire piece of dough, and then just separate it into 2. So what we're trying to do is take your 1 piece of dough, and I'm going to show you a very, very fun round challah. You want to make your half that you've done, you're going to make it into 6 snakes. 6 snakes from that half, and you just want to make it into 6 snakes. And I'm going to show you, this is a great challah, even though it's still far away. This is a wonderful challah for Rosh Hashanah. It's a round challah, and it's excellent with cinnamon and sugar, which you have on your tables, and I'll show you how you might want to utilize it. So get your snakes ready. And you've got some cinnamon and sugar that you might want to just sprinkle onto your strands. You might want to roll them in it a little bit. Okay, now here comes the fun part. 3 strands going horizontal, and then 3 strands you're going to weave vertically. So this is how it goes. You're going the other way, over, under, over. Now, if it's Rosh Hashanah time and you want to put in some raisins, or perhaps a little more modern and put in some craisins, you can tuck those in. Make sure your raisins or craisins are well tucked in, because if they're sticking out, they burn, and that doesn't taste too good. But we can put some craisins into our cinnamon sugar challah. And then your next strand is going under, over, under. And your final strand, it's like a tic-tac-toe board that's woven. It doesn't look very much like a round challah yet, but just bear with me. On each of the 4 sides, you're going to do a regular braid, because you've got 3 pieces on each side. And our final braid. Here we go. Watch the screen, you'll see what to do. We flip it over, close it in on that side, close it in on the other side, and there you have a beautiful round challah for your Rosh Hashanah table, or for any time during the year. There's our round challah. The next challah I'm going to show you, a 4-braided challah. A 4-braided challah coming up, 4 strands together, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can attach them on the top. Now with this one, you only are using your extreme right strand, and you're just weaving over, under. Extreme right, over, under, over. Next strand, extreme right, over, under, over. Other side, over, under, over. Over, under, over. And there you have a beautifully braided challah. And there's our second challah. Now what I want to show you next is that you can actually make a challah from 1 strand. You just need 1 strand to make a challah. Okay, you're twisting your challah, and then you take the end of it and tuck it in, and you have what looks like a braided long challah with 1 strand. There's your braided challah from 1 strand. One of my favorite challahs that I love is onion challah, and I typically make my challah in these bunt cast iron pans. And what I do with it is it makes a delicious challah. You can get it in lots of different shapes. You can get a loaf or a little one or a beautiful round one. And you just take raw chopped onion. You're going to mix it with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of salt. You're going to spray your pan well with oil and just place the onions down in your pan. So you see the shapes of the challah are varied. There's lots that you can do on your tables. You have lots of different shapes that you can look at and use. On your table, you also have an egg brush to brush your challah with to give it an extra shine. You also, if you're making the onion challah, you might want to put a little onion inside. You might want to use a little bit of your poppy seeds or sesame seeds that you have on your table. Every pan has a lid to go on it and instructions of how to bake your challah. So make sure, if you have any challah questions, don't hesitate to call me. You can always check in on the challah hotline and I will be happy to answer your challah questions. I just want to remind you that going home tonight, hopefully you have a bag. You have the little challah that you got, which is a loaf of love for you to share with someone else. So 380 or 90 women baked challah, and almost 800 people will be affected because you will give someone that little loaf of love. You have your 2 pans of challah, your journal, your bag, and your recipe card, and your apron. Enjoy your apron, wear it, and think of this wonderful evening where we all had the opportunity to bake challah together. Thank you for joining us and have a great night.
So everybody, this has been an incredible evening. All of the schmoozing, all of the bonding, the making of the challah. We experienced a mega challah bake tonight with Leah, who with her heart and soul was sharing her secret recipes, her knowledge of making challah with all of these women. And it's really a spiritual, it's a beautiful thing to make challah. I'm really feeling touched by the power and the strength of women bonding, making this beautiful, beautiful bread. And it's really a cool event tonight. I would definitely love to come to another one. Thank you so much for joining us. Signing off, it's Mama Donnie with Shalom TV.
We would be pleased to send a complimentary DVD of this program to anyone who wishes to support Shalom TV with a tax-deductible gift of $36, double chai or more, to the nonprofit organization Jewish Education in Media. Simply visit the Shalom TV website homepage and click on the Donate button to make a donation by PayPal or your credit card. And please indicate the program for which you would like a DVD. Or you can send your tax-deductible check made out to GEM, Post Office Box 180, Riverdale Station, Bronx, New York 10471. And again, please remember to indicate which program you would like to receive on DVD with our compliments. And we thank you for your kind support.